Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Summers, and welcome to the audio edition of Mind, Body, Soul, a program designed to help you with your mental, physical, and spiritual wellness. Each week, I interview a holistic practitioner or other people who have gone through adversity and have come through on the other end to share their story about wellness. And today, I have holistic practitioner Stephanie Newman. Hello, Stephanie.
Good morning, Gary.
Thank you
Glad
very
to be
much
here.
for taking time out of your busy day all the way from Corner Brook to talk about your services. So let's jump right in. And can you just explain to our listeners what is a holistic practitioner?
Well, I'm glad you asked that because it's a definition that's fairly vague for some individuals. But for me, as a holistic practitioner, I believe that the whole person is made up of independent parts. And if one part is not working properly, then all other parts will be affected. And what I mean in this way is that if people have imbalances, either physically, emotionally, or spiritually in their lives, it can negatively impact their overall health. So, as a holistic practitioner, I take all of these aspects into play when I sit with an individual and go through their life history and doing a quick assessment and just get to the roots of what they're looking for or what they may need. Is where I have several modalities. I try to narrow down for that individual what will work best for them in part of their healing process.
So, yeah, so let's talk about the different modalities that you have, because I'm sure people hear about different things, but they don't really understand what each of them are. So let's talk about healing touch. What is that?
Well, healing touch is really an energy modality. It's meant to promote relaxation and as a nurturing energy therapy. During a healing touch session, I use very gentle touch, which assists in balancing an individual's physical, emotional, and spiritual well-being. Healing touch really works with the individual's energy fields, and it's to support that individual's natural ability to heal. And the best thing about healing touch, it's safe for all ages and works in, well, I would say, in harmony with any type of work that you're doing outside your spiritual practice. And it also can be integrated with the standard medical care that you may be receiving. So I do a lot of that with individuals who have seen physicians or other practitioners and looking for that extra component as a complementary to their standard care.
Bruce Lipton, I read a book by Bruce Lipton a number of years ago. It was called The Biology of Belief. And in it, he says, we're all photons floating in an electromechanical field. I think a lot of people don't really grasp this concept of um, energy and how energy flows through our body. And so it's nice to give people an idea of how how this works. So you also do facial massage. So talk a bit about rejuvenating facial massage and how that relates to your overall health.
Sure. The rejuvenating facial massage was based from my interest after studying healing touch and becoming a certified healing touch practitioner. As those in a holistic practice realize, the more they study, the more exposure they have, the more you realize what's out there to have an understanding of. This healing touch is a biofield therapy. I got into rejuvenating facial massage, and I'll do a little plug now from my mentor, Debbie Bowen. She's with the Canadian Centre of Indian Head Massage. And I looked at that rejuvenating facial massage because it draws on the wisdom of many different healing systems. It's a combination of acupressure, Indian head massage, lymphatic drainage, and reflexology. And we do all of this without the use of creams. So there's many benefits for my clientele if they're looking for certain modalities. Because rejuvenating facial massage as a practitioner with that modality, I really see how people are able to relax. And there's the physiology of aspects of the rejuvenating facial massage that it brings healing to the face and head areas. And we can help clients actually improve the skin tone and reduce facial lines for some women. That's very important to them. But the intriguing part of rejuvenating facial massage is that it's based on how the Chinese discovered that there's pressing certain acupressure points on the face, that there's a greater flow of blood and oxygen to the face areas. So when facial muscles are massaged and exercised regularly, all that metabolic processes are stimulated, which means facial circulation is improved and your capillaries are strengthened, and the facial lymph of the system is cleansed. So you have, a physiological aspect helping that client in that area. And it's not what you call a traditional facial massage either, Gary. I must point that out. It really is I refer to it as a massage-orientated session for the face. And it's so relaxing. And I get a lot of positive feedback from people saying, I feel so stressed and my jaw is so stressed. And I just need the ability just to release this tension. So that's a very fascinating modality that I've studied.
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I don't want to lose the question. So why would someone, if someone came to you with certain symptoms, what would some of the symptoms be that you would say, okay, rejuvenating facial massage? Would brain fog, headaches? What would trigger you to say in the rejuvenating face massage?
Well, with my client intake, I have a fairly lengthy assessment based on my registration with the Academy of Naturopath and Naturopathic Therapists, because I'm able to actually issue receipts for some group insurance. So with my intake, I would assess that individual to say, okay, what do you do for an occupation, for example? And if you've got some individuals who are in a sitting position all day long and are on the phone, I can actually sense the tension in the jaws, necks, arms, and shoulders of this individual. So usually I would want them to promote a relaxation technique just to let go of those tensions.
Okay.
And other individuals have, like for supporting cancer care, the rejuvenating facial massage looks at a lot of the acupressure points, lymphatic drainage. So I would help promote that body system.
Certainly with someone going through chemotherapy, that lymphatic drainage is so critical when you're going through that. If we just go back to again healing touch.
Oh, absolutely.
Why would someone want to come? Why would you give someone healing touch? What would be some of because people could be listening and saying, something, that's what I need. So if we just went back to healing touch, what would trigger you to use that therapy?
Sure. Well, healing touch is a biofield therapy, so it's slightly different, like you referenced. It's an energy field. Well, how I relate to healing touch to individuals who have very little energy knowledge is you have the faith in the medical system that when you go in, you get an EEG or an EKG. Mm-hmm. Basically picks up an electromagnetic field of your body. Same as a healing touch practitioner, I'm able to feel your energy fields or your chakras, depending on who I'm speaking with.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm able to use that energy field using touch to influence the human energy systems, and specifically the energy field within and surrounding the body and the energy centers that control the field from the energy field to the physical body.
How would someone know that their energy field is out of balance?
People just feel disconnected, feel stressed, feel off. Like I've heard people say that I just don't feel my best self today.
Okay.
So then what we can do is in my healing touch practice, I encourage people to learn self-care techniques. But because it's very non-invasive, anybody can do healing touch when they set their highest intention to do some self-care for themselves.
And it's funny. A lot of people who I interview, holistic practitioners, always say to set your highest intention. And I think this is where some people really don't get a full benefit and understanding of the power that each of us have within ourselves. And it's people like you who are able to set them on the right direction.
I'm merely a facilitator for what people can do. I'm just giving you the tools to do it.
Absolutely. So let's move on to hand and foot reflexology.
Oh,
What's so interesting about the foot that seems to be connected to every other part of your body?
I'm glad you asked, because studying the rejuvenating facial massage, I had some exposure to reflexology as part of that curriculum. And I became quite fascinated because, again, thinking more outside the energy work, but more of a scientific approach, that intrigued my brain that way. Hand and foot reflexology really relates to the principles that they're all reflex areas in the feet that correspond with all the body parts, Gary. And using my fingers and thumbs, I'm able to apply pressure to these reflex areas, which helps to restore balance to the systems in the body. So I studied that, oh gosh, in 2019. I did the hand and foot massage, and I also studied Indian head massage. And I did that through the Ontario Footsteps School of Reflexology.
Okay.
And then I had to become registered with the Atlantic Canada Association of Reflexology Therapists. Because I've noticed within my studies, I'm on this journey. The more I learn, the more I have a deeper understanding that I must continue learning.
It seems that everybody says the same thing. You know, I've interviewed Joan Dowie, and I've interviewed a bunch of other people, and they say, you know, the more they learn, the more they want to learn, the more there is to learn. And you know, I keep saying to people, holistic practitioners are no different than anybody else. It's just that once they get into the field and understand the vast amount of information that's out there and healing that's out there, they just want to learn more. And if people would only just step back and give it a chance, you just never know where your life can lead you.
Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I really receive what I give. And it's such a sacred moment as a practitioner when people let you in. So I hold that space as a privilege, really, as a facilitator of somebody's self-healing. To me, it's my goal to say, okay, I've given you the tools. Let's practice these tools. Let's receive some grounding techniques and other modalities that I can teach you, and go out and be the best self that you can be in that moment. And then, of course, we set goals. Some people have what I call your growth work. So we set goals for individuals, and, you know, I want them to go on their own journey.
So just walk us through a typical session with you. If someone walks in your office and, you know, you have your intake form, so just walk through a typical session and what people could expect when they come to see you.
Sure. It's a little clinical at first, just because of the compliance and my association. We have a standard of ethics and code. So I go, through the meet and greet. I do a detailed assessment of your medical background and reasons why you're here, your home life balance, your lifestyle example. And it's all pertinent to know, why people are here and where they are at the present moment in their life. That's very important to gather some background. And also gives the opportunity for people to ask me a lot of questions that they may feel uncomfortable asking over the phone, or getting a sources such as the internet, right?
And sometimes it's very difficult for you to self-assess and to diagnose a problem. But when you go to see a professional like yourself, you can kind of identify certain things that are happening in the person's personal or business life that could be causing the problem, wouldn't it?
Yes, but I'd like to go back. I don't diagnose per se, because I'm not a medical practitioner.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean
I
diagnose.
just want to clarify that,
Oh
because
yeah.
it's very important that people realize that I work in conjunction with whatever a medical professional has given you as a diagnosis. I'm here as a complementary to support that individual in other aspects. So.
Okay, let me walk it back a little bit. I guess I'm glad you brought that up. So what I mean by diagnosis, what I'm talking about is certain aspects of a person's life that could be leading to stress.
Absolutely.
That could be leading them to have a bad posture. That could be leading them to do some mental part of their life that's causing them stress. That's what I meant by the diagnosis, where they could be have developed some really bad habits that they don't even realize that the habits are causing problems. So that's part of what you do, is to try and figure out where the person can fix these things so that they actually do lead to their higher self.
Oh, absolutely. And the majority of things are people just needing the moment to relax, the step out of the present moment and just enter a sense of deep relaxation. And when the body is able to relax, Gary, it's just typically it strengthens the individual's immune system for starters.
I
Right?
I don't know how many people who I talk to don't know how to relax.
I,
I've had many people say, Gary, I don't know how to relax.
yeah, yeah.
And that,
It's a learned habit, absolutely, because we are also connected either through social medias, through the access of our cell phones. You see the younger millennials, for example, their cell phones are attached to their
yeah,
fingers.
yeah, yeah. And we know the studies about
Yes,
screen time and things like that causes problems. Sure.
absolutely.
So I briefly touched on it earlier, but just before we finish off, give me some of the common reasons why um, people would see you as a holistic practitioner. Just so get people can get a broad concept of why. What are the most common things people come to see you for?
Well, the primary one I see is people are stressed in their daily routines and their daily lives. So most people come just to receive the deep sense of relaxation, stress reductions, all the modalities offer. Because if I can get a client to come in and just take that extra breath and bring them to a moment of calmness and introduce a grounding technique, then I know and I've seen that this individual will leave with that much less stress on their shoulders. You can see their physical posture has changed. So people come just to say, okay, I'm stressed today. Can you help me go back to that sense of calmness, the sense that I have control over my life? And then others come to me, Gary, for some pre-existing conditions, such as like, I see a lot of people with chronic neck and back pain.
Okay.
I also see people with a lot of conditions, chronic conditions such as diabetes and arthritis. I have a very small clientele who come in for cancer support, either from a physiological need to reduce their stress in their life or just to connect or to cleanse these chemicals that are necessary in their body in the form of drugs. Or also because certain cancer, as we know, are life-threatening. So I have a connection with these individuals to help deepen their spiritual connections to whatever their modality or their higher being is that they're currently looking for to connect with.
So you would provide a lot of support for people going through chemotherapy for lymphatic drainage.
Yes. Yeah. And also with Healing Touch, we can do a deeper spiritual connection as well. And that gives people a peace of mind
You know,
because that's quite the life journey.
yeah. So what I say to people is use your feelings as your emotional guidance system. If you're not feeling right, then you're out of balance. Either your direction is in life is off, your thought process is off, something that you're doing is off. So it's what is important is if when people just don't feel right, whether that's stress or whatever it is, usually it's stress, then what's important is to do something about it.
Absolutely. And
Because we
there's
have more,
modality for everybody, Gary.
yeah,
If
we
you
have
find the
more
right person, keep going.
right, we have more control over our lives than we actually believe we do. What's more important is to actually do something about it. I guess my last question, and do your clients have to believe in energy work?
Absolutely not. Because people don't have to believe in energy work, but they just have to believe in themselves.
Yeah, good
And
points.
that's a real struggle for some individuals that we work on. Yeah, because if you look at hand and foot reflexology, that's based on the science principles that areas in your body mirror your body systems. So there's some evidence based by that. Rejuvenating facial massage is a combination of many different modalities, and it does different therapeutic work. And then Indian head massage is a very informal form of massage where people are completely clothed, and that gives a sense of deep relaxation as well for your head, neck, and shoulders and upper back area. So each of these modalities offer individuals different things that they're searching for, needing, or wanting.
Okay, great, Stephanie.
It's only the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yes, I can imagine. We'll certainly have to do this again. Again, Stephanie, thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy day to talk to us, and really appreciate your effort.
My pleasure, Gary. Be well.